What up? 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 What's good, people? What's up? It's me, L27, Angry Teacher Chronicles, and this is going to be a retro review. It's the beginning of my series of retro reviews, and this is going to be my review for The Wire. Now, why am I doing retro reviews? You know, we're in the middle of this quarantine because of the pandemic with COVID-19. So, because I know that there are going to be a lot of shows that will probably be delayed in their release because they had to stop filming, so forth and so on, I decided that myself and a couple of my other reviewers, I know Really BTV is going to be a part of it. I know Every Reviews is going to be a part of it. I think Giving You the Real Tea may do it, and some other members, some other of my reviewer friends may do it. But we're going to start reviewing old shows that came out way before, you know, YouTube, and before we were on YouTube reviewing. And so we're going to give you reviews, and it'll give you a chance to go back and look at those shows, wax nostalgic, and get an opportunity. And even those people who may not have ever seen the shows when they were actually on television may want to go back and go through your dust off your on-demand search engines and stuff like that, or your DVR box sets if you have DVR box sets of it. So this series is going to be The Wire. I will be reviewing all 5 seasons. Yes. Now, if you're not familiar with The Wire is arguably the greatest, some would argue one of the greatest television shows ever in the history of television. It is definitely in my top 3. I don't know what show is the greatest show ever, but The Wire is in my top 3. So it's in the running for me. Anyway. So this is going to be season 1, episode 1. And this is going to be my review. I hope you like it. I hope you go back and watch. Give me your comments. Let's talk about what we saw, and we'll go from there. All right. So there's a lot in this review. And look, I took copious notes. It's a lot. And I want to try and keep this review as short as I can. But, you know, The Wire is a full hour long. It's not like a regular network television show hour long, where there's commercial breaks and there's really only, I think, 42 or 44 minutes of an hour long show. The Wire has a full hour, which means that it is packed with a lot of stuff. So we're going to try to get through this in under 30 minutes. That's my goal. My goal is under 30 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. All right, so we start off meeting the main character of The Wire. I mean, without a doubt, the main character of The Wire is Detective Mcnulty. Detective Mcnulty, he's a detective working homicides in the great city of Baltimore, or as they say up there, Baltimore. Anyway, there's this homicide case. Drug dealer been shot. Young boy got shot. His name is Schnott. Detective Mcnulty is sitting there with Schnott. His best friend, his name is Schnott Boogie. Anyway, Schnott got shot because Schnott had a thing for, they would play craps every Friday night. Schnott, when the money got high and was on the ground, he would pick up the money, steal it, and try to run away. They would beat him up and let him go. Well, this time Schnott tried to do it, and Schnott got, you know, shot and killed about it. And so Schnott's friend is down there talking to McNulty about, man, they ain't have to do him like that. They should have just beat him up like we normally do. Well, McNulty was like, well, if you know Schnott always steals the money every Friday night, why did y'all always let him get in the game of craps? Because they would play craps in the, you know, alley. He was like, he said, we got to let him play. This is America. And, you know, it starts from there. And then you get the opening credits or whatever. And that's how you're introduced to The Wire. So we get to McNulty. McNulty goes and sits in on this court case. And the defendant is D'Angelo Barksdale, known as D. He's on trial for shooting someone, from shooting some guy in the middle of these projects called the Towers or whatever. And there's there's 2 eyewitnesses. There's a guy that's an eyewitness. I think his last name is Gant. And then there's a female eyewitness. The guy eyewitness lives there. The female eyewitness is a I think she's a security lady or whatnot there. She works security. So the guy gets up first and says, that's the guy right there who pulled the trigger. The lady gets up after him and says, well, the guy's not here. And so the DA is like, wait, what do you mean? When you talk to detectives, you initialed your name on this picture of this guy saying that this was the person who shot him. She was like, that's not him. I don't see him here. I tried to call the people, but nobody answered. And so I tried to call and tell him that that wasn't the real guy who I identified. Now, meanwhile, this whole time, Stringer Bell, y'all know him as Idris Elba. Idris Elba plays Stringer Bell. And let me say this about The Wire. Go back and look at the cast of The Wire. 80% of the people on that cast became big time stars, and many of them got their start right here on The Wire. It may not have been their first show, but it was their show that definitely skyrocketed them into acting fame. So Idris Elba is sitting in the court taking copious notes, got on a bad suit for that time and some glasses, hair is right. I mean, he is dressed to the nines, taking copious notes, or what we think is copious notes. Really, he's just drawing a picture. And he's over there basically intimidating the witnesses and making them, looking at them like, okay, fuck off if you want to. But he doesn't give the appearance of a drug dealer. He gives the appearance of that he could possibly be a lawyer or somebody there. He has that clean-cut image, and he looks very unassuming. But he is definitely there to intimidate the people there. So that's how the lady ended up. He had already worked out a deal with the lady to get her to change her, who she said, change her witness testimony. And so that's how it goes. Mcnulty then leaves the court, goes over to his homeboy who was working that case, and tells him, you might want to go down to the courtroom because your case is about to, go down the drain. He was like, how the hell? We got eyewitnesses and everything. He was like, okay. Some good. I'm doing a whole mukbang, y'all. I'm eating some white cream dipped pretzels. So good. See, this is why I'm gonna go over 30 minutes. I already know it. Anyway, so then we after that, Mcnulty, after Mcnulty left, the guy was like, well, screw you, I'm not worried about it. My case is fine, but Mcnulty knows better. Then we go back down to the precinct where the police are. I'm sorry. We're not down at the precinct, excuse me. We're on the streets of Baltimore. My girl Kima, who works homicide, she's a lesbian. Fine ass Carver. Oh, he's so fine. Y'all know him from The Walking Dead. I know him from way, way back in the day. This is like 2002. When he was still young and fine. Oh, he was so fine back then. Carver, and you got Herc. Carver and Herc are the two young guys on the force, okay? They goof offs. Kima is by the book. She ain't about that fuck shit. She's a lesbian. Anyway, they do this bus. All they get out of it is some guns. Rinky-dink bus. Keep it moving. But we get introduced to them. Back at court, jury done came back. Not guilty. D gets out of jail. D gets off and just gets released. Mcnulty leaves, tries to leave. The lady comes back and says, the judge wants to see you. Now, he goes back to the judge's chamber. Now, this judge just recently became a judge. But the judge is a political force in Baltimore. So he has a lot of weight to push around. Anybody who wants to move up in politics or move up the ranks in government in Baltimore, they need people like him. Mcnulty sits there and talks to the judge. The judge says, what the fuck happened in my case? Mcnulty was like, that's not my case. He was like, come on now. Why would you just be sitting in there? So Mcnulty then goes on and tells him all about Avon Barksdale and his operation that he got in Baltimore selling all these drugs, and how his henchman, his right hand man, Stringer Bell, will come to court and get people off by by scaring witnesses into changing their testimony and doing all kinds of stuff to get them to win a case. And so the judge is like kind of taken aback, but the judge feels like, you know what? I need to take this on. So Mcnulty leaves and thinks it's over from there, but it's not. Back down to the precinct, we got Kim Carver and Herc. They at the office. They back at in the office doing paperwork. Well, Kima is doing paperwork. Herc and Carver are just being middle school little boy goof-offs like normal. I mean, they just ain't doing nothing. Then we meet their boss, Lieutenant Daniels. Now, Lieutenant Daniels is a lieutenant down there to homicide. I mean, not to homicide, in narcotics. Mcnulty works in homicide. Kima, Herc, and Carver work narcotics. Now, so Daniels is like, I got a big meeting with the deputy police commissioner. I'll be back. That was our chance to meet him. Y'all know him. He's been on a whole lot of shows. Go look him up. You know him. He's been on a whole lot of television, a lot of movies, a lot of television. Very famous. But this is where he got his rocket start. So then we meet Bunk. We then meet Bunk. Bunk is McNulty's partner, okay, down in homicide. They have to go and do this new case because they're homicide investigators. And Bunk and homicide detective, and McNulty tells Bunk, why the fuck did you not leave this case alone? This is not supposed to be our case. This is supposed to be somebody else's case. And so they got this new case that they don't want to do. And so it's somebody's body had decomposed or whatever. But anyway, McNulty and Bunk make this deal. Bunk was like, I know I wasn't supposed to take, but I did. So McNulty says, listen, well, since you took that case and you weren't supposed to, you worked that all by yourself. I'll be down at the office not being bothered because I ain't got nothing to do and you shouldn't have took it anyway. And I'm going to be at the office goofing off. So he thought. And so then we get back to the precinct and Daniels is back from the deputy's office. Apparently, McNulty and whatever he said to that judge got a hard on now for Avon Barksdale and trying to get these drugs out of Baltimore. So he calls the police commissioner and it trickles down. So the deputy police commissioner or deputy chief of police or whatever they call him is the deputy. He tells them, listen, I need everything y'all got on Avon Barksdale by morning. It's already afternoon, okay? He tells the major for homicide, the major for narcotics, y'all give me everything because we need to do what we can to try. And we're going to put a detail on him and try to take him down. So, where am I? Y'all know I got so much notes, y'all. Y'all forgive me. Forgive me, y'all. So much to talk about. So much to talk about. So much information. So then after that, Daniel tells Kima to find out, Lieutenant Daniels tells Kima, find out everything you can. They don't know anything in drugs about Avon Barksdale. Mind you, Avon Barksdale is one of the major drug kingpins in Baltimore. He's running all of, the West Side. And Lieutenant Daniels and Kima and Herc and Carver work the West Side, and they have no idea who he is. And he's been running it for over a year now with Stringer Bell. So she was like, do you even have a date of birth on this guy? They don't have anything on him. So they got a lot of work to do to have that by morning. So Daniels tells Kima work her magic. McNulty then comes in and to the office. It's late. His major is waiting for him. The major calls him in his office. The major says, this is the major for homicide. Major says, let me talk to you. And goes on. This is the best scene of this whole episode. The major goes on this epic tirade, cusses him out. white people style. Say it with me. Not white people, white people. White people style, okay? Like the white people do. White people. Anyway, he went, it was classic. The two middle fingers, calling black people the N-word, ending with the ER. And all just went off. It was because Mcnulty has basically screwed everybody. This thing done trickled down all the way and done got several branches of the police force involved. Mcnulty done jacked it up for everybody. So he's giving a major fuck you to Mcnulty in this, okay? He tells Mcnulty, well, the deputy wants his report. You need to have it by morning. No errors, no typos, no nothing. He likes the dots or bullets. You know, the little bullet points. Mcnulty gonna be up all night. That's his punishment. So then we meet Weebay. Weebay, now y'all know, if y'all watch my reviews for the show For Life right now, Weebay is in For Life. Weebay is also, it goes all the way back to this show, The Wire. He's Weebay on The Wire. Weebay done picked up D'Angelo, or D, and is taking him to go see his uncle. Avon Barksdale is D'Angelo Barksdale's uncle. So D is Avon's nephew. So on their way, D is like, man, appreciate y'all. You know, y'all had it going on in the court and all y'all was able to do for me, this, that, and the third. Weebay stops, the car gets out, makes him get out, and on the side of the street, he said, what's the rules? What's the rules? And he makes D'Angelo, he said, I know the rules. He said, tell me the rules. And D'Angelo goes over all the rules. I don't remember them all, but one of which is you do not talk about anything about the business in any car. I don't care what car it is. So he had violated one of the rules. So he made him get out and repeat the rules. So after that, they finally make it to the strip club, okay? Down to the strip club, that's where Avon Barksdale office is, basically. That's his office, the strip club. He running the strip club. So he gets him and Stringer there, and they just, you know, talking about the business or whatever. So when D'Angelo and Weebay come, D goes up and talks to Avon, and Avon basically goes off on him about being stupid, killing this man. Why you had to shoot him? We got all our people all over the place. You running that whole tower, but you around here putting bullets in people. And he told him it was expensive as hell to get you out, to get you off. And so he was like, man, now Avon is about family, he said. And because D was about to leave there with his head held down, he was like, nah, don't do none of that. You family, I got you. I ain't gonna never do you wrong. And he says, hold your head up. I always got you because you family. He was like, bet. So he did make him feel good. We'll see how far that goes. Mcnulty is still down to the office typing all night long. Bunk, his partner comes in. He just getting back from the new homicide case. Then we see their sergeant, fat man. I can't remember their name, but their sergeant, their immediate supervisor, the sergeant, I think his name Landsman or something like Lansford. I can't remember his name, but the fat one who always eating the damn donuts. He's their sergeant, and he's like, Mcnulty, you can't be doing shit like this. You can't be fucking shit up for yourself in front of the department because it's going to land you up working detail that you don't want to work. You're going to be out of this comfortable office and they're going to have you working down in the streets back on foot in the West Side. And he was like, well, I like West Side. Well, he was like, well, what don't you like? Because wherever that is, they're going to have you at, keep fucking off. And so he's like, well, I really don't like the docks. I don't like marine detail because I hate the docks. And they were like, keep fucking off. You're going to end up dead. So he holds out some money. I got this much money that he's going to make it down. Foreshadowing. Anyway, the next thing we know, Dean tries to go back to work because he was like, man, because Avon, when they was at the script club, was like, you got to work this off. He was like, I got you. I'm going to be on my grind. He tries to go back down to the towers that he was running. Ooh, that's some hot coffee. Stringer is waiting for him. Stringer say, hey, you don't do the towers no more. You going down to the low rises. You're like, wait, what? Basically, it's a demotion. He's still running the low rises, but it's not a major operation like the towers, okay? It'd be like, I'm going to put it in school relation. It would be like you being the principal of a high school and you going down to the district and they tell you, we're moving you from this high school and we're putting you at this elementary school. Even though you still running the elementary school, it's a major demotion from being the principal of a high school. Same thing with this. So he goes down there to the low rises and we meet our boy, Bodie. Bodie's sitting on that dirty ass couch that's sitting in the courtyard. Listen, let me help you. Let me school you to my reviews. We over here on this channel right here, L3027, and all my people here, my Shondo socialites and my members of the House of Debauchery and all my fellow teachers' pets, we do not disrespect Bodie. We do not talk down about Bodie. Bodie is our boy. Bodie is our man, 100 grand. We do not talk ill of Bodie. We see it for Bodie. Just letting you know that now. If you got a problem, see me in the comment section. All right. But Bodie is there. He just hanging out. We meet Wallace and Poot. Now, Wallace, y'all may know him as Michael B. Jordan. This is old Michael B. Jordan when he was still a little boy. And he still had the cornrows and the braids, okay? Wallace and Poot are the little boys. They're the little teenage boys, maybe about 13, 14, that, do all of the running and stuff like that. And so D gets a chance to kind of see the operations and see how things are going down. All right. So he gets to see how everything is going down and get a feel for what they're doing. He finds out that things ain't running as smoothly as they should run. Put a bookmark in that. Back down to the precinct, Lieutenant Daniels. Lieutenant Daniels gets the report gives the report or his report on Avon Barksdale to his major, who gives it to the deputy, and then the major from homicide gives his to the deputy. Now the homicide's report is real thick. The one from narcotics is real thick because narcotics didn't even know him. So they were like, y'all need to get on it. And down in narcotics, and y'all need to make this happen because the deputy is not happy with what y'all presented. And he tells the major for narcotics, the major for homicide tells the major for narcotics, you need to get on your boy Daniel and have him get on his job. Daniel's to have him get on his job and get us more information if he's supposed to be over drugs, and this is a major drug kingpin. Then we meet Bubbles. Bubbles, y'all know him as the lawyer in Empire for the lawyer for them in Empire. That is Bubbles, okay? Bubbles is a crackhead on the wire. The eerie thing is, Bubbles looks exactly the same as a crackhead on the wire 20 years ago as he does today as a lawyer on Empire. Exactly the same. The fact that a crackhead and a lawyer can look exactly the same. Wow, who would have thunk it? But Bubbles pulls that off with masterfully, I should say. He got this little friend, this white boy, who does crack with him. And they have this scheme that they do all of the time where they take 110 and then they have that's real money, and then they put 2 other 10s in the middle of it that's fake. It's actually white paper with the money printed on it, like a copy of a $10 bill on it. And so that's what Bubbles is planning on to do the next day so they can get their crack. So they go down to the trap. Bubbles does the little money scam seamlessly, gets his crack, and goes on. Wallace is the one who takes the money. So Wallace comes over, gives the money. Wallace is short. Why? Because he got 2 pieces of paper instead of 2 $10 bills. And so D goes off and says, hey, you got to be more careful. Y'all ain't running shit tight around here. Bodie just sitting there like... And so he's trying to tell them different things too. Because first thing Bodie said to D was, because D ain't counting the money at first. Bodie said, you might want to count that. And so when he counted it, that's when he notices it was short. And let me say this about Bodie. The thing you learn here is that Bodie knows the operation. Bodie knows how to run a tight ship. But the problem with Bodie is Bodie feels like he's never been given a chance. He could run it all, but since they ain't giving him a chance, he's just gonna sit there and let shit just go. It's all apathy is damn near setting in with Bodie. There. That's why he just be sitting there chilling on the doggone couch, because he wants to run things and then they don't let him, and so he's just like, well, whatever. You know, he does just as little as he has to. We back down to the drug hole where Bubbles and White Boy is down there shooting up drugs. And Bubbles tells White Boy, because White Boy wants to do the money scam. Bubbles say, nah, man, you still green. You still green. I'm trying to get you brown. And you like, nah, let me try it tomorrow. I'm brown. You like, man, you ain't even beige. And so that made me laugh. But he's going to let him try the money scam the next day. Mind you, remember, they just caught on to the money scam. And then this is going to be White Boy's first time doing it. This is a match made in hell. Lieutenant Daniels then goes to meet with the deputy. Now, the deputy talks to Lieutenant Daniels and says, listen, I'm going to put you over the Barksdale detail. I'm going to have you, you know what I'm saying? They're going to put this guy named Mcnulty with you. You need to watch him. You won't do shit down there without me knowing. Now, it's people higher than Daniels that, you know, the deputy could have funneled this information through, but those people are white. And what I liked about this shows that this happens a lot of times with black people. And I've been in these positions. When you get to a certain level, you look out for black people in that on that level with you, or who are climbing those higher ranks with you. You say, listen, I got you. I'm going to give you the inside connect. I'm going to help out my people as much as I can. You don't fuck me and I won't fuck you. We're going to go up together. As high as I go is as high as you go. And that's how it happens. I find myself, that has been done to me on two levels. It's been done to me because I was black, and as I've climbed, you know, professionally and even in some of my organizations, and also within the spectrum, the LGBT spectrum, where somebody may be, you know, higher than me, and they may say, listen, you look, I'm going up and I'm going to pull you up with me. And as high as I go, that's as high as you go. And I've even reached down and done it for people coming up after me. And so I do think that is important, especially for minorities. So I was glad to see that. All right. So back to where we were. So then we get down to where Mcnulty goes to the FBI's office. Now, Mcnulty got friends down to the FBI, and they're showing him, he had them doing, you know, been telling them about Barksdale and so forth, or maybe they have been telling him about Barksdale. But remember, this is 2002 now, so there was a whole war on drugs going on. But what happened was, when 9/11 happened, all of the money and all of the resources that were being used for the war on drugs were now being transferred to the war on terror. So where they had these surveillances and was doing live feed streamings of Barksdale's, you know, operations and everything that he had going on with videos and wiretaps and all this, that, and the third, the FBI agent, who's a friend of Mcnulty, said, we got to shut this down like next week, because all this got to go to fighting terrorism. So counter-terror and all of that stuff. So he's like, I would have loved to have worked on this. You would have loved it, but we just can't. All our resources are being allocated. And I'm glad looking back at it now, it takes a different spin, because that was real back then. You remember, prior to 9/11, everything was drugs. And then it did make that pivotal shift where all of federal resources, FBI and stuff, most of their stuff was hinging on terror. It made sense. This was 2002. It makes sense now in the 18 years later. All right, so we're back at the trap. White Boy comes and tries to do the scam. Somewhere or other happened because Wallace was taking money from some other person. White boy messes up and drops the money on the ground. He sees it on the ground. Wallace don't see it on the ground. Wallace runs. But the man who Wallace was helping was saying that ain't the right amount of change, this, that, and the third. Bodie comes over and is like, what the fuck is going on? Bodie looks down, sees the paper on the ground, sees white boy trying to get away because he saw white boy drop the money and said, that's the white boy who fucked us over yesterday. And they all run catch the white boy. D comes over. They done caught the white boy. D comes over. And Bodie's like, what the fuck you gonna do? What the fuck you gonna do? We gotta do something. We should throw his ass off the fucking highway or whatever in the middle of the highway. And so D looks and D doesn't do anything. D takes the real money, leaves the rest of the money and just leaves. And they beat the white boy to a pulp. They beat him down within inches of his life. But D lets the white boy go basically. Which Bodie, you could tell Bodie thought that was the wrong, because Bodie was like, this is going to make people feel like, what the fuck are they doing up there? This is going to make people feel like, we're weak. But D just lets it go. D then goes to the strip club. I'm sorry. Wait, let me look at my notes. I done got so off on my notes. All right. So we back down at the strip club. Wait, did I do that? Oh, no. We're back down with Lieutenant Daniels. Lieutenant Daniels meets with the detail that's going to be working on Barksdale. And he lets them know what he wants to do. Mcnulty is there. Mcnulty is the bad student in school. He never wants to obey the rules, never wants to do the right thing. And so the way Daniels wants to do it is, Daniels is like, listen, we do a couple arrests, we get some of the foot soldiers down, and this case will go away, and we can go back to our regular duty. And McNulty is like, you're never going to get Barksdale like this. And so Daniels is like, listen, because you got the state attorney's office, and they're having this whole argument. The state attorney lady is like, listen, if I ain't come down here for no damn argument between y'all, y'all get y'all shit together. Y'all let us know at the state attorney's office when y'all got it together, and we'll come back. Now, if you're watching for the first time, put a bookmark on that state attorney lady. She's going to show up later on. You're going to forget because it's going to be so further down in seasons later. But pay attention to her. And so Daniels finally says, listen, you do what I do. I'm over this. This is going to go by the book. It's going to be clean cut. We're going to do it my way. And that's going to be it. He lays down the law on McNulty and said, this is how it's going to go. And that's going to be that. So then we see Bunk and McNulty at the bar. And Bunk knows Daniels. So Bunk said, McNulty says, tell me what you know about this guy Daniels. And Bunk says he's a company guy. He's young. He has a law degree. He's a rising star in the force. He's not going to make no waves. He doesn't want to make any waves. Doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. He's going to go by the book. He's got a stick in his ass. And they see it for him. So, he ain't going to do... He's not a bad guy, but he ain't going to do you no favors either. And so that, everybody knows the company guy. They don't want to ruffle no feathers. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They want to be they're the rising star. They want to, do everything right. But the thing about it is, and even Daniels will learn, the higher you get up the ladder, the more you have to get your hands dirty. You don't get to the top without getting your hands dirty. Trust me, I know. So then we're back down to the strip club. Now D goes down to the strip club, and Stringer Bell is talking to D, and Stringer Bell is talking to D about how he let the white boy go and what message that says. Like, you can't just be letting people go like that because it makes us look weak. And he was like, this is the wrong message. This is why we got you down at the low rises now and not back up to the high rises. To the towers or whatever. And so I think D gets the message, but that's not who D is. D is not inherently a bad. D's not made for this. D knows the game because it's his family business, but D is not made for this. And you can tell D has a heart. And be in the drug game, you can't have no heart. You got to be cold and callous and not caring. I guess I miss my calling because I should probably be in the drug game as cold and callous as I am. Anyway, we see Kima gets home from a long day at work, and we find and her girlfriend is there waiting for her, but we find out Kima is in school. So while she's doing 12, 16-hour days at work, She then got to come home and do 10-page report. She got a 10-page paper that's due the next morning with footnotes and all kinds of citations and stuff. And she ain't even started. And her girlfriend was like, well, I guess you got a long night. So, those, we'll find out more about Kima and how her girlfriend and her school and this new detail are all going to collide. Bunk and Mcnulty are down after the bar. They go down to the train tracks and they just shoot the shit, and they do what partners do. They do what best friends do. You talk, you shoot the shit, you tell stories, you reminisce, you get drunk together, and that's what we have. And I'm glad they showed this on the first episode, because this is something that they do throughout this series. You'll see it over and over and over. So many things come out in these conversations. And one of the conversations they had this time was this story that Buck tells about shooting a rat for his girlfriend who was scared with his police gun. All because, the rat needed to be shot. And I think that was a metaphor. I think he was sending a message to Bunk as well, not Bunk, to Mcnulty as well, because Mcnulty right now in the police force is seen as a rat. And that's why he asked him, you shot him with your police gun? He was like, yeah, I did. Which was to say, yeah, the police will take you out. It was a metaphor for how you're the rat, Mcnulty, and the police are going to be the ones that take you out. Not necessarily kill him, but in terms of his, career and professionally. Bubbles is then down. Then we see Bubbles at the hospital. Now, white boy is clinging to life, okay? Bubbles is down into the hospital. Kima comes in. Kima and Bubbles knows each other. And Kima works the ground. Kima works narcotics on the ground, so she knows Bubbles. Bubbles is a crackhead. She knows Bubbles. And so she was like, she's good with Bubbles. She was like, how long you been out? Because he was in jail. And he told her how long he been out. He was like, who's this? Kima was like, who is this? That's my friend. And he was like, you still working down in drugs? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, I need your help with something. And you can tell he wants Kima to help him get back at the drug dealers that did this to his friend. And now we see all of these worlds colliding, because this is exactly what Kima is going to need, because these people work directly with Avon Barksdale. So, at the end of the episode, the sergeant comes to Bunk and says, you have a new case. Bunk said, I already got a case. He says, well, your partner ran his mouth, and now he got that detail with Barksdale, so that only leaves you to work all his cases too. Bunk goes down there to look at this case of a homicide. Who's dead on the ground? Somebody last name Gant. You roll him over, and it's the dude who correctly identified D in the trial. D is in this crowd of people trying to watch what's going on. And when they roll the man over, you can see his face, because he was shot in the back of the head, or shot in the front of the head, shot in the head or whatever. You can still see his face. D looks and sees that it's the guy who correctly identifies him and puts it together and just walks off like, oh, shit. And looking back at it now, I'm looking at it like, really, you know what kind of family you have. You didn't think something was going to happen to him? But he looked real surprised, like he couldn't deal with it. But like I told y'all, D is not built for this. And that's where it goes off, y'all. And that's episode 1. Listen, we got a lot more episodes to go. But as y'all can see, it's jam-packed with a lot. It's a first episode, and we got to get a lot of introductions out of the way. And we got to meet a lot of people in the first episode. One of the most influential people, if not the most influential person throughout the entire series outside of Mcnulty, we have not met yet. And I'll let you know when we meet him. Anyway, until the next review, which will be coming probably in a couple days, that's all I got for y'all. Like I said, y'all go back and watch the episode. Get on your DVRs or your on-demands, or your dust off your DVD box set, or search for it on your HBO and go find it and watch it. Tell me what y'all think. Let's get back in the comments section. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely.